The square root of 3x plus 1.
Square root of
3x plus 1.
Is it like this?
Yes.
Plus
1 minus square root of x plus 4 equals to 1.
X plus 4
Equals to 1.
equal to 1.
Yes.
Is it correct? Confirm from your notes before I solve. Okay.
There's no y. 3x plus 1.
So that's why I wanted to, because 3x plus 1 is equal to 1. All right. Our target is to find x, right? That's our target, because when they say solve an equation, they're asking you to find the unknown variable, the unknown value. That's what they're asking you to find. Now, in trying to solve this, the first thing we do is let's regroup the expression. Regroup the equation. Regrouping the equation, what we have here is the same thing as 3x plus 1 is equal to 1 plus square root of x plus 4. Do you agree with me on this? Huh? Do you agree with me that these things are equivalent? The next thing we do is square both sides. So when I square both sides, I'm going to have what? 3x plus 1 is equal to 1 plus square root of x plus 4 all squared. Are we together? This implies that 3x plus 1 is equal to what? 1 plus 4 multiplied by 1 plus x plus 4. Now let's multiply these guys out. 3x plus 1 is equal to 1 times 1 is what? 1 plus 1 times square root of x squared. Square root of x plus 4. X plus 4. This times 1 plus square root of x plus 4. Then this times this plus what? X plus 4. Are we together? When this guy multiplied by this, the square of the square root is 1. The square of the square root is 1. So this is equal to 1 plus square root of x plus 4 plus square root of x plus 4.
X plus 4.
This plus this is what? 2 root x plus 4 plus x plus 4. Now this is the same thing as, let's collect like terms. Collect like terms. 3x plus 1 is equal to 1 plus 4 is what? 5 plus x plus 2 root x plus 1, x plus 4. This is equal to, we can still collect like terms by moving these guys this way, right? We have 3x plus 1 minus 5 minus x is equal to, yes, I'm collecting like terms. These guys here, I'm moving them this way.
I thought that is 3x plus x.
Where? 3x plus 1 I'm just moving this 2 to this side. This is equal to 2 root x plus 4. This is equal to 3x minus x is what? Minus 1 minus 4 is equal to 2 root x plus 4. I can factor out 2 from this side. I have 2 into x minus 2 is equal to 2 root x plus 4. Are we together? If I divide both sides by 2 and I divide both sides by 2, these 2 will cancel these 2, these 2 will cancel these 2. At the end of the day, I have x minus 2 to be equal to square root of x plus 4. From here, who can find the value of x for me? Can somebody find the value of x for me from here? What's the next thing to do? It's x I'm looking for. What's the next thing to do? Yeah. Yes. 1 minus 5. 1 minus 5 is minus 4. What's the next thing to do from here? How do I get my x from here? You are faced with this kind of a thing in an exam. How do you find your x from here? Square both sides. So I have x minus 2 squared is equal to x plus 4. Are we together? Now if I square this, what will I have? I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. Am I correct? Huh? Or let me break it down how I did it. This times this is x squared. X times minus 2 is minus 2x. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x. So minus 2x minus 2x is minus 4x. Minus 2 times minus 2 plus 4 is equal to x plus 4. So I'm going to have x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus x minus 4 is equal to 0. This implies that x squared minus 5x minus 5x is equal to 0. This implies that x into x minus 5 is equal to 0. So what are the values of x from here? What are the values of x from here? I think you are the class rep, right? Okay. Come and sit down. Yeah. Come and sit down. What are the values of x on the board? What are the values of x? Hello? Nobody can tell me the value of x. I've solved everything for you to this point. What is the value of x? Sometimes you say you make me scared. Sometimes you make me scared in the sense that I'm just imagining how you are going to face your exam questions. Immediately I imagine it, I become scared. Because I'm scared of I don't want you to waste money. I've solved everything to the last point. So which means basically, one thing with mathematics is math is about connecting the dots. Math is like you are having different pieces of problems. You have one problem in Kurudu, you have another one in Ajata, you have another one in Jikwe, you have another one in CBN Junction, you have another one in Nyanya. Math, what does math do? Math is now telling you each of those problems you are having in different locations, how can you connect them? How can you make them into one problem and then solve it? So this particular problem that we're solving here, we have implemented different strategies to solve this. We have traveled from Nyanya to Jikwe to CBN Junction to Kurudu to Ajata to all those places, and now we are at Army Estate. Now we are at Army Estate and we are close to our destination. So how do we connect the dots from here and just get the value of our x? In the first place, what kind of equation is this? In the first place, what kind of expression? What kind of expression is this? Huh? What kind of equation is that? It's quadratic. So how do you solve quadratic equations? How do you solve quadratic equations? How? Huh? You say what? And so applying quadratic methods to solve this, what is the solution for x? X, this implies that x is equal to 0 or x minus 5 is equal to 0. These are factors. These are two factors. So you have this x to be equal to this 0 or this guy to be equal to this 0. So this implies that your x is equal to 0 or what? Or 5. That's the values of your x. So in this expression, x can be 0 or x can be 5. For instance, if I put 0 here, 3 times 0 is what? 3 times 0 is what? 0. So I have 1. Then minus, if I put 0 here, I have 4. Am I correct? So I have square root of 1 minus square root of 4. Evaluate square root of 1 minus square root of 4. What will you have? Huh? Huh? Square root of 4 is what? 2. So 1 minus 2 is what? Is what? Minus 1. This implies that x cannot be 0. Are we together? If you take this 0 and you put into this equation, your value here is going to be minus 1, which is not equal to 1. By implication, x cannot be 0. Are we together? Now, when you take 5 and you insert it here, 3 times 5 is what? 16. Sorry, 15. 15 plus 1, 16. Square root of 16 is what? I have 4. If you take 5 and add it here, you have what? 5 plus 4, which is what? 9. Square root of 9 is what? So 4 minus 3 is what? 1. So 1 is equal to 1. This implies that x cannot be equal to 0, but x is equal to what? 5. This implies that x is equal to 5 because x cannot be 0. If it is 0, this equation is defiled. Is that okay? Is that okay? I want you guys to pass. But you guys are not. Hi. Yes, go ahead.
that we solve it now. Like all this time now, you are taking to solve it. It's not the same time you're going to solve it now.
Now, if it is a theory exam, you have to take this time to solve it because mathematics is marked by steps. The more clarified your steps are, the more marks you get in mathematics if it's a theory exam. Now, if it's an objective exam, that is why it is always advisable for you to solve problems over and over and get used to the methods. Are we together? By the time you get used to them, you don't need to write anything down before you get your solution. For instance, if I have mastered the art of quadratic equations very well, immediately I come to this point, I will know what my final answer is. There is no point of me writing this down again. Do you understand? Now, if I come to this guy, if I come to this place here, now if I have studied very well and mastered the art, if I write this one down, there's no point of me writing this down again because I already know that this is the same thing as it. So there's no point of writing it again. So I can skip this step. I can also skip this step and go straight to this step because I know that if I multiply these two guys here, this is what I am going to get. But that comes as a result of practice. So when you don't practice, you spend longer time trying to solve a particular problem. When you take your time to practice very, very well, it becomes a walkover for you. Are we together? Yes, you wanted to say something?
That you will escape from this use.
Where?
This low. Down. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Hey, it's just we expanded this guy here. We expanded this guy 1 times 1, 1 times this times this times this, and we got this guys here. This plus this is 2 of this. This same exponent is 1. Then this 1 is still this 1. We collect our like terms. If we carry this guy and this guy is here, that is this guys and this guy. If we bring them out, we have 1 plus 4, which is this 5, and this x is this 1, and this guy here is this guy. Then you have 3x plus 1 minus 5. This guy, this is plus 5. I take it this we have minus 5. Then minus x is equal to this. So I have 2x. If I do this guy here, I have 2x minus 4 is equal to this. Then this 2 divide by 2 here, and this 2 divide by 2. Now I am dividing all through by 2. Please take note. I am dividing all through by 2 because this 2 is not in the root sign. This 2 is not inside the root. If this 2 is inside the root, I cannot divide all through by 2. I'm dividing all through by 2 because the root is outside as a coefficient of the square root. Is that okay? Now, what's the other question? Quickly.
The square root of 5.
Can I clean this?
No, sir.
Please write fast. Write very, very fast. Can I get a cleaner? Okay, thank you. Plus 2 root 6 is equal to root x plus root y. That said, we should simplify. I said we should simplify this. Mostly these are JAMB-like or JAMB standard questions because they are more of advanced sorts like that. So you need to pay good attention to it. Now, can we go ahead? Can we continue? Huh? All right. Now, when you are given something like this, you have the square root of 5 plus 2 root 6 for you to simplify. This is like a sword inside a sword. Are we together? Now, the first thing you do is to get the general form of a sword, the general form of a sword. You know that normally a sword is always in a root form. Are we together?
Yeah.
Now, if a sword is always in a root form and you're having two numbers or two expressions inside the root side, you can just say that be let this be equal to root x plus root y. You want to simplify this down, you want to break this down to two independent swords. And the two independent swords, you don't know them. So that is why you are saying the two independent swords, let one be x and let the other be y. Are we together? Now the next thing you do is, we want to first of all clear this guy. Clear this root guy. So we can now say square both sides. When we square both sides, this is the same thing as 5 plus 2 root 6 all squared equal to root x plus root y all squared. Remember, it is x and y we are trying to find. When we find x and y, we put them here and put them here. It becomes the simplified version of this sword here. Our problem is solved. Are we together? Huh? All right. I said that they said simplify this guy. Now, simplify this guy. What they're telling you is that you should break this guy down into smaller swords, into smaller independent swords. And we are saying that since we are having two expressions here, 5 plus 2 root 6, we can say, okay, in trying to break this guy down, it's going to be two different swords. And we are saying we don't know those swords. So we said, let the two swords be root x plus root y, since we don't know them. This is our target simplified version of this guy. So when we have this guy, our target now is to find x and also to find y. That's our target. So we say to do this, we now work on this whole equation. And we start by saying square both sides. So when I square this guy and I square this guy, this is what I will have. Are we together? So this implies that this guy can go with this guy. I'm going to have 5 plus 2 root what? 6 is equal to root x plus root y, root x plus root y. Now let me leave this guy here like this. This is equal to, multiply this out for me, what will you have? Multiply that guy out, what will you have? Huh? Root x times root x.
X.
You have x. Root x times root x is equal to x. Hope you all understand. Plus root x times root y. Root xy. Because from the laws I gave you, the laws of manipulating swords I gave you, if you are having swords of different radicals, if you're having swords of different radicals, you pick the root and multiply their radicals. Plus this guy now times this guy is equal to square root of xy. Xy, yx is the same thing. Then plus root y times root y is equal to what? Plus y. This is the same thing as x plus y plus 2 root xy. So we can say that 5 plus 2 root x is equal to this. All right. Do we follow to this point? Sorry, not x here. 6, sorry. Do we follow to this point?
Yes.
Huh? So the next thing we do is we have 5 plus 2 root x equal to x plus y plus 2 root xy. Who can tell me intelligently the similarity in that equation? Who can identify a similarity for me? My friend, I think you are my evening student. So you have re-enrolled for morning. It's good though. So that you not be among. So who can identify intelligently how this equation, any uniqueness or any similarity in this equation? Huh? You said what? X plus y equal 5. Why? Huh? And that is how they used to. Any other person? Huh? This one? Uh-huh. And what? Okay, two root. Okay, now when you come to this stage, just like this guy said, but he doesn't know what it is, what you do here is there's what they call comparing of coefficients. Comparing of coefficients. Are we together? That is what happens here. If you discover this one has no root sign, this two has no root sign. This one has a root sign, this one has a root sign. So what you do is you now have x plus y to be equal to 5. You can call this equation 1. And then you have 2 root xy to be equal to 2 root 6. Are we together? Huh? So we can say that this guy can go with this guy so that I will have root xy to be equal to root 6. Now, if I also square both sides, I'm still going to have xy to be equal to what? 6. I can call this equation 2. So, consequently, we have gotten two simultaneous equations to solve for the value of our x and y. So, solving this simultaneously, what is your x and y? Quickly tell me the answer. Solve the simultaneous equation 1 and 2 and tell me the value of your x and y. All of you in this class, very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. Including those of you at the back. Yes, disturbing me. No, I took you from there to come to the phone. You are the first person I met in this class today. And you are still disturbing my class. I know the one communicating with her now. What's the value of your x and y? What's the value of your x and y? Huh? What's your x and y? Hello? Your x and y. What's your x and y? Ah! You know, teachers are like military people. Teachers are like military people. They need high level of patience. High level of patience. You know the military, they are the most patient people on earth, ba? You know, ba? No. They are the most patient people. If military is not patient, every day they'll be killing people on the street with the kind of training they receive. If they are not patient. Do you know that a military man that is out of depot and come to the street, do you know that they see you as ant, you look like an ant civilian before them. Are you aware that to a military man, a civilian is like an ant? That when they are just passing, you see an ant, you just crush like this. So that is why it takes great level of patience for them to endure with all the nonsense. Yes. The answer is what? No. All right. They say the answer is 3 and 2, which is correct. Now this is it. You have x. You can say, okay, from equation 1. Who is there disturbing my class? Now, from equation 1, we can say let x be equal to, okay, x is equal to 5 minus y. From equation 1, x is equal to 5 minus y. Now, let's say I call this one equation 3. Now, if I put equation 3 in equation 2, I am going to have 5 minus y multiplied by what? Y is equal to 6. Are we correct? Am I together? Now, this means that I have what? This means I have 5y minus y squared is equal to 6. This implies that I have y squared minus 5y minus 6 is equal to 0. What's the value of y from here? From here, find the value of y. What's the value of y? What's the value of y? Solve this quadratic equation. Yes. It's what? Hello. What's the value of y? Let me tell you something. This is what you should do. It's what you are going to do. If it means arranging with success way. What I'm telling you is very important. Even if it is one whole day, from morning till evening, either one day or 2 days, from morning till evening, you can have break period amongst it. If they can arrange one whole day or 2 full days for you, that you will pay them extra for you, for all the preliminaries of mathematics, for it to be revised with you and your brain refreshed before you do your exams. It is going to be very, very good for you. You see all this idea of sort, logarithm, factorizing equation, completing the square, graph, formula method, simultaneous equation, elimination method, substitution method, and all those things. You need a general revision on them, because these are all the tools you will be needing or you'll be using for your exams. There is no math question you will solve without using the tools of quadratic equation, simultaneous equation, either elimination or so, there is no way you can solve mathematics, any question, especially the one that has to do with x and y, without knowing those things. So you must first of all know how to identify them and know how to solve them, because you will keep encountering different questions that requires you to solve using any of these tools. So if you can sacrifice 2 days or 1 day from morning till evening, as you are coming for that, as you are going to school, you know that, okay, I am going for mass revision, and different simple tools that you need will be revised with you. You ask any kind of question you want to ask, and then your brain comes up. It will help you. For those of you that are doing JAMB, it will also help you if you can do it before you do your JAMB. After the class, you can go and meet success. Tell them, oh, please, sir, we need 1 whole day or 2 days. The value of your x, of your y, one should give you positive, one should give you the negative. Are we together? So, and if it is negative, please look up. If the negative answer is going to give you here, if you put it here, it's going to be root of negative. Are we together? Which is undefined. So which means the value of x cannot be the negative value. Is that okay? So if I solve for this, my y is going to give me what? My y is going to be equal to minus 3 minus 2. Is that one? Y squared. If I take this guy, okay, sorry, this is plus, not minus. This is plus. If I take this guy here, I have plus. So I have minus 3 minus 2. Are we together? Minus 3 minus 2. If I have minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5. Minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6. Are we together? So I'll have my y to be equal to, my y is going to be equal to 3 or 2. Are we together? Y is going to be 3 or 2. So if I pick any of the y from here, for instance, if I pick y equal to 3 and I substitute into this guy here, I'm going to have my x to be equal to 5 minus 3, which is equal to what? 2. If I pick y equal to 2 and I put into this guy, or x is equal to 5 minus 2, which is equal to what? 3. So my y is equal to 2 or 3, and my x is equal to what? 2 or 3. So this implies that square root of 5 plus 2 root x is equal to root of 2 plus root of 3. Are we together? So this is how you simplify this kind of sorts. Any question? Any question? Now, go ahead.
So can you go back again from the beginning?
I can't go back from the beginning because that luxury of time is not there. That luxury of time is not there. I have explicitly solved everything. So go and restudy it from the beginning. I say square both sides, understand what the square both sides means, and follow it line by line until you get to the last distance. All right. Any other question that is there? Or that's all? That's all, ba? Is that all? Huh? All right, let's look at this again. Evaluate nine minus 4 root 2. All of you do this quickly using the same method. All of you must do this quickly, and you have 2 minutes to do it. I'll move around and check your notes quickly. Quickly.